For nearly 20 years, John Harbaugh was the face of the Ravens. His name meant control, stability, and dominance inside the AFC North. But that chapter is officially over, and the real danger isn't just that he's gone. The real threat starts when you look at where he could end up next, especially after everything that's changed in the division recently. Mike Tomlin stepping away in Pittsburgh looked, at first, like just another coaching cycle shift. But it quietly created the worst-case scenario imaginable for Baltimore. A direct rival suddenly needs a head coach. A proven veteran is sitting on the market, and all the pieces are lining up in a way nobody in Baltimore want to see. Stick with me until the end, because once you connect the dots, it becomes clear why this nightmare stopped being hypothetical and started feeling very real. Think about what John Harbaugh truly meant to the Ravens. He wasn't just another coach passing through. He ran the team for almost 2 decades, built a culture, earned league-wide respect, and kept Baltimore relevant year after year. When you talk about the Ravens, his name immediately comes up. That's why this split isn't normal. It's a true end of an era. For Baltimore, the decision opens the door to trying something new after a disappointing season. But at the same time, it opens a dangerous door. A coach with Harbaugh's resume doesn't stay unemployed for long. The moment his name hits the market, front offices start moving behind the scenes, crunching numbers, evaluating rosters, and thinking, this guy could change everything here. And that's where things start to get uncomfortable. Harbaugh isn't just experience. He knows the AFC North inside and out. He knows how to attack division rivals, understands how physical this division is, and knows exactly how to win big games. This isn't just any coach on the market. This is someone who could become a serious problem depending on where he lands. At first, it felt like that risk would stay far away from Baltimore, with possible destinations outside the division. But the NFL loves flipping stories upside down. And one unexpected piece of news involving a direct rival completely changed the picture. Just when things felt relatively under control, the NFL dropped the bomb on the table. Mike Tomlin, one of the most consistent head coaches in modern NFL history, stepped away after 19 seasons with the Steelers. A coach who never had a losing season, who kept Pittsburgh competitive even in down years. That alone would have been massive news. But the impact goes way beyond Pittsburgh. Tomlin's exit opens one of the rarest jobs in football, inside one of the league's most traditional franchises. The Steelers don't usually miss on these decisions, and they don't gamble on experimental projects. They think big, think long-term, and prioritize someone who can command a tough locker room from day one. Now, put the pieces together. A legendary coach just left the Ravens. A direct rival with a winning mentality suddenly has no head coach. All of a sudden, something that once felt impossible starts making way too much sense. And in the NFL, when things make sense, they stop being theory very fast. The move was so shocking that even Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti was caught off guard, joking that he'd only hire Tomlin if John went Pittsburgh. The joke says more than it seems, because if that switch of sides actually happens, the problem for Baltimore grows in a terrifying way. If you look at it objectively, the Steelers might be the perfect fit for John Harbaugh. This is a franchise that values stability, tradition, and strong leadership, exactly what he represents. Pittsburgh doesn't cycle through head coaches or embrace long, messy rebuilds. They want someone who walks in knowing exactly what to do. Now imagine that person being someone who knows the Ravens from the inside. Someone who understands how the organization thinks, how it builds its roster, and how it prepares for division battles. This wouldn't just be a coach joining a rival. It would be knowledge, experience, and competitive mentality crossing the street. That completely shifts the balance of the AFC North. On top of that, Pittsburgh has consistently found ways to reach the playoffs. Even without major postseason success in the last decade, the competitive foundation is still there. With a coach like Harbaugh, the jump could be immediate. This wouldn't be a 4-year project. It would start causing problems from the very first divisional matchup. For the Ravens, this is the most frightening scenario imaginable. Watching a former leader take over a direct rival inside the same division, battling for playoff spots, seeding, and identity. And the worst part? It's starting to feel realistic, especially when you look at the other options Harbaugh has on the table.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
According to Diana Rossini, the Giants, Falcons, and Titans are currently seen as the most likely landing spots. And that makes sense. These are franchises dealing with instability, questionable decisions, and cycles that never fully come together. For them, Harbaugh would be an anchor, someone who could organize everything fast. The issue is where those teams are right now. None of them look truly ready to compete immediately. They're still missing pieces, identity, and in some cases, a clear direction. For a coach who spent years competing near the top of the league, stepping into a project that's still crawling might not be that appealing. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, has proven it can win even in imperfect years. The competitive environment is already there. The culture is established, and the division presents challenges Harbaugh knows better than almost anyone. There's also a quiet but powerful factor, the chance to prove something against a team that just moved on without him. And when that kind of motivation enters the equation, decisions can change fast. Even if other teams look like favorites behind the scenes, the emotional and competitive pull of the Steelers could outweigh any other offer, which brings us to the most delicate part of this story. So far, there's no real smoke directly linking John Harbaugh to the Steelers. No leaked talks, no confirmed movement. But in the NFL, some of the most impactful decisions happen in this exact silence. When nothing is being said publicly, it often means conversations are happening privately. For the Ravens, the mere existence of this possibility is already troubling. This isn't about certainty. It's about risk. A risk that wasn't on the radar weeks ago and suddenly became real because of one unexpected decision in Pittsburgh. That alone changes how Baltimore has to look at its immediate future. If Harbaugh does cross over to a division rival, the impact won't just be symbolic. It'll show up on the field, in big games, in playoff races, and in control of the division. This is the kind of move that reshapes narrative for years. That's why, even without confirmation, this story deserves full attention in the coming weeks. Because sometimes the worst-case scenario doesn't announce itself. It just shows up, and when it does, it's already too late to react. All of this proves how fast the NFL can change without warning. What started as a simple coaching change in Baltimore turned into a domino effect that opened a dangerous situation inside the division. Harbaugh leaving was already a major moment, but the possibility of him leading a direct rival takes this to another level, impacting rivalries, strategy, and the balance of power in the AFC North. Even without anything official, the context speaks loudly. Pittsburgh is a logical, competitive, and meaningful fit, while the Ravens watch from a distance as a risk that didn't exist weeks ago suddenly becomes real. This isn't about panic. It's about understanding how decisions, timing, and opportunity can redefine years of divisional battles in just a few months. Now I want to hear from you. Does this scenario truly represent the worst-case nightmare for the Ravens, or is it still just speculation? Do you think John Harbaugh would actually take the Steelers' job? Drop your opinion in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.